Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kadash, which all praise to Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Son, Bahashem, in the name of Kadash, the Holy Spirit. Shalom to the elders and apostles, double honors, and shalom to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned the truth from via the internet. Shalom to the brothers that's out there that believe in this truth, and brothers in the highway and byways, waking up the elect, preaching the truth and sincerity, 100% truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect, 144,000 men, and the rest of the elect, the rest of the 1/3, which of the elect that believe whatever role, they play in Yahweh Shemiashah's movement. I wanted to bring out this article. It says Bass, and another article after it, and get some scripture. It says Bass situation, soaring US dollar spread pain worldwide. Down the article. Let me see. It says a strong dollar make a bad situation worse, and the rest of the world says, as well, a professor of trade policy at Cornell University. Many economists worry that the sharp rise of the dollar is increasing the likelihood of global recession sometime this year. The dollar is up 18% this year, and last month hit a 20-year high, according to the benchmark ICE US dollar index, which measures the dollar against a basket of key currency, which really, which the dollar purchasing price is really weakening, as inflation goes, which that's what inflation does, it weakens the purchasing power of the dollar. And also, Russia, and China already moving away from the dollar as global currency. They're trying to set up a new global currency, and really, even the elites, it's Babylon the Great, is trying to set up, the digital currency. So the dollar soon going to be worth nothing. But the rest of the people are feeling the heat of the issues with the U.S. dollar. It says the reason the dollar, why no mysteries, combat soaring U.S. inflation, the Federal Reserve has raised its benchmark short-term interest rate 5 times this year, and is signaling more hikes are likely. That has led to higher rates and a wide range of U.S. governments and corporate bonds, luring investors, driving up the U.S. currency. Most other currencies are much weaker by comparison, especially in poor countries, Indian countries. So now, it's not gonna be. What's the point of using the dollar if it's affecting your currency? So the Indian rupee has dropped nearly 10%. I see it against the dollar. Egyptian and a pound 20%, in Turkish outstanding 28%. So they gotta have to get rid of the source of the problem if it's affecting them. So we're waiting for a new year. We'll look into our finances and we'll downsize according to the 9 else to do. Which countries are immune? And Europe, which was already teetering toward recession amid soaring energy prices on euro, is worth less than $1. €1 is worth less. Wasn't it like? Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it like $1 is 0.99 or €1 $1.7? The exchange rate was like €1 or something like that. But it says €1 is worth less than €1 is worth less than $1 for the first time in 20. For the first time in 20 years, it used to be worth $1 or close to $1. Not $1. It could be $1 something, and the euro would be $1. First time in 20 years, and the British pound was plunged 18% from a year ago, and the pound recently, flooded with the parity after Britain new Prime Minister Liz Truss announced huge tax cuts and roiled the financial market and led to the ouster of a treasury sector. Really, all these country's gonna feel, you know, they're gonna feel the lashback of this currency, the dollar currency. They're gonna feel the backlash. Of course, it says surging dollar will drop next year as the U.S. the U.S. slips into recession and the Fed cuts interest rate, which is really in deep recession because this was published on August 24th. It's only been like 2 months, and it's getting worse slowly but surely. Was the plague are coming? It said Wells Fargo says that there's an article that the dollar is set to fall in 2023, which really is articles read it, you know. Like and it's just for warning, like, you know, these things are close or these things are happening, but we don't know when it's gonna be down, like the final countdown, exactly what days. Only Yahweh Shai know, you know, and where he could speed it up, put in the spirit, speed up for them to go to that digital currency and drop the dollar. So the dollar is set to fall in 2023 as the U.S. enters recession and the Fed cuts rates. Wells Fargo said. The big economics expect the dollar surge to continue. Yeah, it's just rise further. So yeah, keep rising. I don't know why they do that. But Wells Fargo is expecting Fed rate cuts in 2023 that should push the dollar into cyclical decline. You know, he said the dollar will start to give up the major gains in 2023, which you're ready for. Basically, give you the rundown of what they're going to talk about. He said, as the U.S. economic tips into recession and the Federal Reserve is forced to cut interest rates, Wells Fargo and the analysts have predicted the greenback has surged for a year as the Fed hiked rates harder than other central banks, drawing investors in a lower rate countries back to the U.S. Doubts about the global economic have also boosted the dollar, seen as a safe haven asset. Wells Fargo economists told client in a note Tuesday that they expect the dollar to continue to rise in 2022. They believe that the Fed will hike interest rates by 75 basis points for the third time in a row in September, further boosting the U.S. currency. So basically, it's holding back, you know, trying to slow it down as soon as possible. But by doing that, he's making it worse, you know. And he's gonna fully blow into hyperinflation, you know, as spoken of in Revelation 6, and 6, you know. We for a penny a day wage. Let's get that. It's gonna go down in this bitch. Yeah, let's see, get it here. Let's go. That's 16.5%. And when he opened the third seal, and I heard, originally 6 verse 4, when he opened the third seal, and I heard a beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld lo, a black horse. We had a black horse, you know, and we had a black horse, and I heard third beast come out and see. And said, we had a black horse, and he had sat on him, had a pair of balances in his hand. The balances represent slavery, bondage, and judgment that's going to be taking place on the earth. It goes back to where Zygos, this is yoke, slavery, you know, a pair of scales. Let me make sure. Alright, put back in here. Zygos.
Strong's G 2218 Zugos.
This is a yoke that's put on drawn cattle, a tithe, using the burden of bondage as that of slavery, troublesome laws imposed, balance, pair of scales. So basically, represent judgment, slavery, and bondage. The verse 6 says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny. And also balances are used to, scale stuff. To weigh stuff, scale it. This for that. It's equal exchange and all that. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see, thou heard not the oil and wine. Oil and wine represent this truth, which is and the elect. They have oil. Sorry, they have oil in their lamps. Basically the oil and wine represent the elect, the one that knows the truth of the scripture, that knows the Lord's name, that's paying attention. That'll be, that's taking heed to the scriptures. And when it says barley for a penny, and it's a measure of wheat for a penny, basically could be interpreted as inflation in modern day. In modern day you call that inflation, because a day's wage is in Matthew 20:2. So it's basically like a bread, a wheat, or whatever thing you're gonna buy. A day's wage is gonna cover only that. What do you call that? A hyperinflation. When things get more expensive, it's gonna cost you a whole paycheck just to fill fridge halfway or to get one stuff. And as things get more rare, it's gonna cost more days' wage to get one thing. And that will lead to the 2 16, the downfall of this kingdom, Babylon the Great. Because when you can't buy things anymore, things become too expensive. There's gonna be chaos. It's gonna help make the beginning of Jacob's trouble much worse. That's when they're gonna have an opportunity when people are desperate. We don't know how it's gonna happen in order, but you imagine, if the dollar's gone and it's become worthless, they're gonna come out with a new currency. It's being done on purpose. Let's get second Ezra. Second Ezra 16 or 15. 16. We'll get 15 later. 16. I think we're 16. It's not 17. It said, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days. It's talking about who's going to deliver in these current times of this calamity that was coming. At the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, which also is prophesied in Matthew, 21st chapter. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine. So it links. So they link together. The beginning of famine and great death, and the beginning of wars, women's wars and women's wars. And wars, it's gonna get physically. It's gonna heighten. It said, and the power shall stand and fear, the beginning of evils. And what shall I do when this evil shall come? Behold, famine and plague. Inflation can lead to famine and plague. When you can't pay, plagues, diseases and stuff. But when you can't wash yourself, you're dirty. Can't afford to pay the bills. Can't afford to get things to wash yourself with. And we're gonna be the least of the concern. We're gonna worry about food. But you see the book of Eli, how when the society collapsed, how shampoo, was like fucking treasure. It was like gold. That's how where it is. Plagues, tribulations, and anguish. We are sent as scourges for amendment. It said, but for all these things shall not turn from their wickedness. People are not going to change. They're going to repent. All people. All people are Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. We go repent because we're under the law, under the promises. It said, no, be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victual shall so good cheap upon earth. Like right now, they still could afford certain stuff. Then they shall sink. They shall think Slakia, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Right now, they think they're in good case, not paying attention, paying attention, and mindful of the scourges of the growing inflation rate of the recession. They think everything is normal. They think it's gonna go away soon. It says even then shall evils grow upon the earth. It's gonna continue to get worse. It says sword, famine, and great confusion. They're not gonna be knowing what's going on. They don't know what to do, where to go. They're gonna be outraged. They're gonna be mad at the officials. They're gonna go crazy, basically. It said, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So even if you escape the famine and hunger, you're gonna be destroyed by the sword. You're gonna be worried about other people breaking in your houses, they're stealing your shit, putting you to death. Second verse, chapter 15, verse 7 says, Egypt shall mourn. Egypt talking about, not old Egypt, talking about new Egypt. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, aka America. Which is in Revelation 11 and 8, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Revelation 11 and 8. It said, and the dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. How he was crucified, they painted over his image. He was white. Painted over the image of the angels. They crossed him out, even in the courthouses. Those prophecy see these things happen. They put wickedness forward. Or to them that call good evil and evil good. So we live in those times when good be called evil and evil is called good. It says, they that till the ground shall mourn, for the sea shall fall to the blasting and the hail, and with a fearful constellation. Wait, which one was? Let me see. No, yeah, I was thought. Shall mourn, all the crops, everything, they try to do, every crop they try to grow is gonna fail, and we're already seeing the effect. They're not having enough crops, enough food. They're going to the supermarket, and some of these things, Esau Edom, so why done it deliberately. Burning food factories. The news where just random amount of factories just burning down. They're being destroyed. Come on, man. So for the certain destruction draw nigh, and when people shall stand up to fight against one another, swords their hand, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings. No person, they're gonna take account. The law is gonna be a lawless society, a mad dog. What is it? Mad eat dog. Dog eat dog world. It's in the course of the action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go in the city, it's gonna be martial law, not be able to. The thing is gonna be blocked up. They're gonna have to seize control of the situation. Because of the pride of the city, it shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and man shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. That's self-explanatory. And because of the lack of resources, bread, food, they're gonna be destroying each other. And we've seen that happen before for small storms or storms that don't last long. After a day, people lose their mind. Imagine now, that was back then. Imagine now, where everything is just convenient to you. You can just order shit on a computer. People don't even go outside anymore. Everything, is being done for you. Essentially, if you could work, without you have to move or do anything, people would take it. And the MOTB, they moved to a digital currency system, credit, meaning if you do something, they give you a certain amount of money to control how you spend it. You don't have to do anything, because a lot of people are take it, small benefit and stuff like that, but they're gonna realize they're gonna make mistakes. Hey, if you're heathen, you take that shit. It don't matter, because only Israelites, they're gonna be saved anyways. But if you're Israelite, take that shit. You're through. You're done. Which all these things, the dollar being from the way is gonna lead to revolution. 13, 16. I get that. So anyway, and this was in my mind for time. I was thinking about saying I'm gonna get into it. So I pull out the verse. It says, "He calls all but small and great, rich or poor, free and bound to receive a mark in their hand, in the right hand, and in the forehead, and that no man, which is the MOTB, the MICROCI, no, MICROCHIP, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom and limit and understanding. Count the number of beast, for it is the number of man is number 600 to score and 6. You see, it's the number of man. It's the number of the wicked. Esau Edom. There'll be a man, a physical man that's issuing these things. That's gonna be throwing you in prison if you don't take it. And number 666, which is the barcode, the number that is 666. But what I was gonna say, with the MOTB, when it can control, it says not buy or sell, say he that has more, which really not gonna be able to buy or sell anything you want anyway. So it goes deeper than just being able to buy and perform a transaction in Babylon the Great, but also your transactions are gonna be controlled. So you're not gonna be able to buy and sell what you want. Even then, it basically they have control over you. They're trying to be the Most High. Second Thessalonians, I believe, they put themselves as the Most High. But with that, I hope this was edifying. Shalom.